opposite or inverse function of squaring a number is taking the square root of a number. So since 5 squared equals 25, we can say that the square root of 25 is 5. In this section, we'll only be taking the principal or positive square root. So we have 3 different situations here. Our first situation, square root of 25 equals 5. Second, if you have a negative in front of your square root, then that negative stays in front after you take the square root, that number will be negative. And the third situation, the square root of a negative 25 is not a real number. And in a later chapter, we'll talk about what kind of number that is, but for now, we'll just say not a real number. Let's find the square roots here. For example, a square root of 36. Well, since 6 squared equals 36, the square root of 36 is 6. Example B, the square root of 1/9. What squared or what number times itself equals 1/9? And that would be 1/3. So that's the root of 1/9. For example C, negative square root of 81. Remember, the negative stays in front, and the square root of 81, well, that's 9. And for D, the square root of negative 81, since the negative is inside the square root, that is not a real number. And the reason why is because no real number times itself equals a negative number, right? Because if you multiply a number that has the same sign, whether they're both negative, then the result is always positive. That's why there is not a real number for square root of a negative number.